Hello, everyone. Hello, it's Monica. With that, so Monica, I'm going to wait for a few more people to join. I want to thank you all for joining me today. Hopefully, you all can hear me, and we're going to go ahead and get started very shortly. And you all know what we're talking about today. We're talking about planning sewing events. Hello, everybody. How are you? Thank you for joining. Thank you for those who are here. I appreciate you all. I appreciate you all for coming. Thank you. Thank you all who are here. Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope you all are doing well. Yes, I hope that you all are doing well. Yes. Hi, how are you? Yes, 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 yes. How's it going? All right. Okay. Can you all see me? Can you all hear me? Perfect. How are you all on YouTube and Twitch? Hello, hello, hello. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. I have some notes, and again, this is going to be a really fun series because we're going to be talking about a variety of things. Hi, Mia. How are you? We're going to be talking about a variety of different things. And for those of you who are on Instagram, which I'm looking at this screen, and then those of you who are right here, if I'm looking at this screen, that's because I'm watching everyone here on YouTube, Instagram, and also on Twitch. And I appreciate you all for being here. But we're going to get ahead and dive right into it. So if you have any questions, if you've wondered how you want to plan your own sewing events, sewing retreats, different types of different events in the sewing community, let's talk about it. And we're going to get right into it. So give us about a minute and we'll get started. But as you think about your questions and stuff, we will we'll write those down, put those in the chat now, and so I can make sure to answer those for you as we go. And thank you again for joining. We're going to have a fun live. This is sort of a recap from the last one that we had. So we're going to go over all of that and make sure that we're hitting those points and that we're touching all of that. Hey, Nicole, how are you? Hey, Deborah Jackson. Hey, Myra. Hey, Sewing Greatness. Hey, everyone who is on Instagram watching. Thank you all for being here and for tuning in. Okay, well, in our first episode, I gave you guys a preview of actually what it looks like to plan an event, what it looks like to plan a sewing retreat. We were just off the heels of the sorority retreat, and I wanted to give you some insight on what that looked like. And a lot of people have had questions. I've been planning events for over 2 decades. In doing so, I have a variety of different experiences, from planning homecoming events, concerts, parades, symposiums, to a plethora of different types of festivals, sewing retreats, intimate retreats, as well as concerts, conferences, and a host of different type of events. I've seen them all. So welcome back to Behind the Scenes. And if you joined me last time, we broke down what it really takes to host a successful sewing retreat. So in this one, we're going to talk about vision, budgeting, your venue selection, and also what it looks like to have that guest experience. What does that look like and what does that entail? Okay. Then in today, we're going to get into the foundation of actually how to plan your retreat the right way. I'm going to say the right way because I've seen a lot of sewing retreats popping up nowadays. I've seen a lot of people who've hosted them. I've attended different type of sewing events, crafting events for the past few years. So I'm able to give some insight on some things that I would do differently, some things that I would change, and even adding to the things that I currently do. So this is your opportunity to pick my brain on that as we talk and we delve more into the series. So the first thing you want to do, and what we're going to do, is we're going to set a goal for this episode. So our goal is planning is the key to success. If you're watching, go ahead and write that in there. Planning is the key to success. You can write success in the chat. Go ahead and write success if you're able to write that. I want to see that to make sure that you guys are in tuned with me. And of course, I am saving this live. Thank you. Thank you for writing it. Thank you. Success. Okay. So planning is the key to success. So if you don't lay the right foundation down, things are going to fall apart quickly. Fall apart. So in this episode, I'm sharing those exact steps I use to map out a retreat from start to finish so that you'll be able to do the same. And if you're thinking about hosting your own event, then grab your notebook because you're going to want to take notes, okay? You're going to want to take notes. So let's get started. So the first thing is, what's the best event you've ever attended? What made it great? I want to know. So if you've had an event, hi Pride Fit, hey, hi Rachel, see you tomorrow. What's the best event that you've ever attended? What made it great? And if you're watching on Instagram, you can come on over and head over to YouTube. We're over there having fun. What was the best event that you ever attended? Best event. It doesn't have to be, if it's a sewing or crafting event, it can be. You can state that. If it wasn't a sewing or crafting event, that's fine. But I want to know, what was the best event that you all have ever attended? And what made it great? What made that event great? Let me know your thoughts. And don't all go at once. And I can tell you what made my event great. We're asking some questions here because we're talking about planning your own sewing event. Let me know. I see y'all watching on YouTube. So, or maybe y'all haven't attended a great sewing event and nothing made it great. Okay. I'll go first since I see that y'all are a little shy. Since I see that some of y'all are a little shy, what made the event great for me, I would say, is that the connections that I made at the event, how the event was actually planned, how thoughtful the people, the planners were, and how they curated the event to fit the attendees. That's one. So I think what made it great was that not only because I was there with hundreds of people, but while I was there, I felt like, oh, this is a great connection that I am building and making, and they didn't make me feel like I was uh, with all the 100 people. I felt like I was one person. So, is that something that you all have felt? I know some of you are event planners or have planned some things. So, let me know your thoughts on that. Okay, so what we're going to do is get started. Okay, let me see. Because I think that there's a delay. Grand opening for a train station. Okay, Cynthia, that's good. Tell me why that event was great, Cynthia. So Cynthia on YouTube said that the event that she attended was great because it was an event for a train station, a grand opening of a train station. And I planned a lot of groundbreakings and grand openings and those types of things. So, the planning timeline, I want to tell you where to start. The first thing is where to start. A well planned retreat doesn't happen overnight. A well planned event doesn't happen overnight. Ideally, you're going to want to take 6 to 12 months to plan. So let's break down that milestone. Write down 6 to 12 months. Because I hear some of y'all in this community saying, oh, I'm going to throw this together tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. Okay. So within 6 to 12 months, we can break it down. So from 12 to 9 months out, that should be sort of your vision, your market research. Do that research. You want to define the purpose. What's the problem that you're solving? So why are you hosting this particular event? So when we're hosting the sorority retreats, even when I talk about Project Cell, for me, let's start with that. That's an event. I treat that as an event, even though we're coming together once a month, it's an event. But I saw that there was a problem where there wasn't a place for us to get together and have a lot of space. I knew for me, I was living in an apartment. I had just moved to the Dallas area, and I had a small little, like, carved out corner in near the kitchen. It was like a little office thing near the kitchen. Hi, Jay and Al, how are you? And I was in the little corner there trying to figure out Oh my gosh, how am I going to sew? Where am I going to cut? What am I going to do this? So Project Sew was a great way for me to have a space to cut, to sew, and also talk to other people that were sewing. So we were solving a problem, and hence how we grew, because we were able to solve the problem of people wanting to feel and have that community. With the retreats, I want retreats that look like me. I want to be able to come and sew, get together, have fun, have an amazing time, and literally win prizes, relax, learn sewing techniques, and do all of that. So that's definitely important as well. So you want to do check your market research. What's that problem you're solving? Who is your target audience? Is there an interest in the retreat that you're trying to do? You want to poll your community. That's where it's going to start. So when you have these channels that you have, start polling your community in the channel so that you can see what it is that they're trying to do. Okay. Then the biggest thing is, after you kind of decided, like for instance, I know I'm looking forward to planning something specifically curated for a set group of sewists, because after attending a couple of different conferences, from Craftcation to other retreats, other events, I noticed that there was something missing, that the audience who were there, some of the people were like, man, I wish we had this. I wish we had this. I wish we had this. And I've heard it so many times that now I'm like, you know what? I have a problem that I know can be solved, and I know that I will have a target audience for that problem. The next thing, and this can hold you back, because I'll be honest, it's held me back, is set your budget. Know your break even point early. Okay. You need to know your break even point early. The reason I say that is because sometimes we can lowball ourselves. We literally can sit and lowball ourselves and say, you know what? Planning this event, it's okay. I just want people to come out. But you're not thinking about how you can literally be lowballing yourself and not making, one, the money that for the time that you put in, or making income to sustain for next year, making income for marketing or any of that. That's one. So kind of think about, how much money is it that you want to make. If this is a free event, then of course there's no money that's going to be made. But you may want to look at getting sponsors. You may want to look at seeing if you can get the location and things comped and all of that stuff. So make sure that you think about that. What is your break even point? Know that early. Okay. So if you're like, hey, I just want to make 10%, that's all. That's fine. All right. Now, after that, 9 to 6 months out, your venue and scheduling. So now that you have listed, okay, what's the problem I want to solve? This is the type of event that I want to do. This is the type of audience that I'm going to target. What is going to be, where are you going to have it? What factors do you need to consider? How many people are you thinking about having at this event? What's your capacity? Does it need to be accessible? Are there going to be contracts for booking this venue? Do you have to pay for this venue? These are all things you have to think about to factor also into your cost. So right now, if you're like, hey, I want to make 50%, 20%, 10%, whatever that is, also factor all of that in. And then you want to set a schedule. How many days? What's the flow? Are you having workshops? Is it free time? Are there social events? Are there games, activities? What exactly is taking place in that schedule? What does that look like? Thank you all for joining. I'm Monica of That's So Monica, and we are talking about planning sewing events. Planning a sewing retreat, a successful retreat, and successful event. So thank you for joining. If you have questions about it, put those in the chat. Okay, so Cynthia said they had a personal assistant follow and check on us throughout the night, providing a personalized experience. Oh, I love that. And then Mia says that I agree. It took 12 months to do a plan for the royalty conference she hosted. Yes, Mia, that is definitely true. And you need to make sure that you take the time, because people can tell when you rush at things, and that's not good for your audience either. Unless I'm going to say this. Unless you got 20 years, 20 plus years in the game, You could easily put together something in your sleep. Like I'm talking to you guys now. Yeah, you can easily put something in your sleep. Hey, Tamara. But if you're not taking that time to plan things out thoroughly, you're going to miss things. You're going to miss things. And especially if this is your first type of event, because each one is going to be different. Okay. So after we think about how many days, what's the flow, what are those particular things that you want to add to make it special? 6 to 3 months out, you want to start doing your marketing and your signups. Okay. You want to launch that registration early bird versus regular pricing strategies. There is a strategy in that. That's when you're looking to set those prices and you want to build that momentum. You want people to feel like, okay, if I don't get that early bird price, I am missing out. Because sometimes when we look at events, we notice that some people will have a early bird price at, let's say the event is $600. They may say early bird price is $495. They've already factored in how much everything is going to cost and what it's going to make. So for me, I'm going to say do early bird price. One, because I want to get my tickets early. Two, I want to make sure that I secure my seat because I want to be in that space. And three, because of the discount that they're giving, right? Then they may say, if once early bird pricing is done and build that momentum, what's going to happen? They're going to raise those prices up. So you want to make sure you're doing that. Then after this, you have all of that stuff, and we're going to go a little bit into the weeds. I'm just kind of giving you an overview of what we're going to be discussing today. You want to promote consistently. Y'all, you cannot post for an event that you are trying to host and have one time. How many times does it take you to see something before you buy it? I want y'all to answer that. How many times does it take you to see something advertised before you buy it? So for those of you who are on Instagram, hey. For those of you who are on YouTube and Twitch, hey. How many times? I want to know. Tell me. How many times does it take you to see something before you buy it? Are you the one-time person? Put that in the chat. Are you the one-time person? Are you the person that's like, oh, you know what? I can buy it today. I'll buy it tomorrow. Are you that? Tell me. I want to know. I want to know. How many times do you have to see something before you buy it? Before you pull that trigger? Before you push that button and pull out your credit card and put those 3 last digit numbers in the back? I want to know. Tell me. All of y'all with the happy trigger fingers, trigger now. Okay. I want to know. Tell me exactly how many times. If it gets my attention once or twice, Tamara, 3, Cynthia, okay. So honestly, it's 7 times. The number is 7 times. 7 times. Because sometimes someone can see it the first time. Oh, you know what? I'm going to go buy it. Then you're walking around, you're busy, you're doing things. If you're like me, your mom, your wife, you're running around, you're working. Then you see it again. You're like, oh, shoot, I forgot to buy it. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me go get my card. You go to the room to go get your card. You get distracted. You forget about it. Another couple of days pass by. Then something else is like, oh, wait. I got it pops up again. But if it's something that you know, because they've already built the momentum of it, the marketing of it has been strong, right? Or you've seen people at it, it's sold out before quickly. They put together this whole entire, oh my goodness, if you don't get these tickets now, you need to get it. So it really depends, right? Nicole's like, okay, it depends. If it's something that's long awaited right away. But if it's not, then you have to be reminded. That is true. There are times when I see sales of things that I see and I'm like, oh, I got to get those boots. I'm like, I'll get them tomorrow. I'll get them tomorrow. I'll get them next week. I'll get them this. I'll get them today. I'll get them next time. And then by the time you realize it, you're like, oh my goodness, either the sale is over because you didn't move on it. So it's 7 times. So if you're thinking about that, and some of you have put 3, some of you said it depends if your attention once or twice. So 2, some people put a few times. So if it's not right away and you only post once in social media with our attention span, how do you expect people to want to attend or come to the event or thing that you're hosting if you're not promoting it? So remember to keep promotion and marketing in there, okay? So after that, we want to go into execution, y'all, because now we're promoting. So within 3 to 0 months out, you want to do that final prep and that execution. So you want to confirm your vendors and supplies. You want to prep your attendees with the materials, your swag bags, the itinerary, etc. You want to also do that final marketing push, those last minute sales strategies to purchase the ticket. So I'm going to talk to you about the sorority event. I planned that event with two other women, Kiki and Nikki, my business partners. And one of the things that we honestly, to a point, it's a good thing. It is a good thing. We don't necessarily have to really market it like maybe everyone else may have to, because we have a large community and following already, and a long, exhausted waiting list, right? So we have a pool of people that, because we have such a strong and solid event, we have a 95 to 98% returnees. 95 to 98% returnees. And if someone has not returned to a retreat, they've either skipped a year and come back, because this is our third year of hosting retreats. They either skipped a year and come back, or it's just either the retreat, that type of retreat wasn't for them, or financially they're not able to make it, right? It could be a variety of different reasons, not that they didn't like it. It just could be that it's just not fitting within their time. But a 95 to 98% retention rate on our retreats says something about the work and what we're doing and putting into it, right? So I think when you're thinking about that, we can market it. We sold out in seconds because people wanted to see this type of retreat. So now I'm seeing events and other things that are coming up. People want that community. So you have to kind of jump on that. Okay. And if you have questions, please put them in the chat. And thank you all for joining. Okay. So, which part of this planning to you, what sounds the most stressful? So, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, which which part of the planning sounds the most stressful to you? What do you think? And for those of you who are on Instagram, thank you for being here. We're talking about how to plan a sewing event, a sewing retreat. Thank you for joining. Which part of it sounds stressful for you? Are you stressed, or are you like, you know what? This is not stressful for me. I got this. I don't have a problem with this. I can definitely do this in my sleep. If you're like that, then but let me know which part of this sounds stressful for you, if it does. And if it doesn't, that's okay. That is okay. Hi, Rachel Marie. Thank you for joining. Hi, Miss Moore. Thank you for joining. So, what sounds stressful for you? Let me know in what I've said so far. Okay. So we can get back to that. So now we're going to talk about the budget and the cost. What does planning look like, you know? So, and why the budgeting is a non-negotiable. If you do not have a budget set for what it is you want to do, you're going to, one, waste money, you're going to lose money, you're not going to make any money. I hope you're repeating those things. Okay. So a retreat can go from profitable to a financial disaster if you don't plan your costs correctly. A financial disaster if you don't plan your costs correctly. So we have to break down those key expenses. All right. So let's go ahead and break those down. So Nicole, you said getting started. Thank you, Nicole. So getting started, yes, getting started is very stressful, but once you get there and you get through that part, you're good to go. And I'm going to help you. Nicole is actually going to be planning her first sewing class. I don't know if she's going to be doing necessarily her own sewing bag event, class, or if she's going to be joining in on another person's bag making class and she's actually going to be planning that. But we're going to walk Nicole through that process and what that looks like. And she started now. We talk almost all the time, and she started now. She has some amazing friends who we encourage. We're all together and we try to encourage her to get in there and see what it is that she needs to do because she's so talented. So, Nicole, get ready because you're going to be having your event very soon. So, one of the major costs of a retreat is the venue and accommodations. That is the biggest expense. That is the biggest expense. So, what I would do is because I've been working in this industry for over 20 plus years, I have a lot of connections, a lot of people in the industry, in the event and marketing industry that I've connected with. And one of the things that I have done is build those relationships to provide me the opportunity to negotiate. So if we're going to negotiate on location, we're going to negotiate on maybe even the services that are being provided, negotiate on the time, negotiate on a variety of things that they can possibly throw in. Okay. Nicole said, if you don't have the budget, don't even do it, even if it's a baby shower. Ah, yes, budget. Those last minute expenses will break the bank of you, of you if you don't plan. That is very true. I've planned baby showers for friends. I've also, hey Renee, I planned baby shower for friends, and I've planned bridal showers, maid of honor stuff. And when I tell you, you're so like, oh, I want to be a maid of honor. I want to be this. Do you realize you're the one that's paying for everything? Okay, so make sure you have a budget. That's important. That is equally important as well. Okay, so you want to negotiate those contracts. Then you want to look into the food. Food is a big thing. Food and beverages. Is it going to be catered meals, or are you going to do DIY planning, meal planning? Now, I would kind of stay away from the DIY meal planning unless you're a chef. Okay. But if it's catered meals, think about maybe ordering certain takeouts that offer that family style meals if you're doing a retreat, because that could definitely help. But you want to make sure that the food is good. That's the biggest thing. If the food is no good, people are not gonna have they're not gonna have a good experience. Oh, wait, if you don't have good food at your sewing event or sewing retreat, people are not going to have a good experience. I'll tell you that for sure. Okay. Then we're going to talk about your speakers and instructors. Should you pay your speakers or offer incentives? What do y'all think? Should you pay your speakers? If you're hosting an event or sewing retreat, should you pay your speakers or offer incentives? I think you should. I think that that's important because they're taking their time out. So some of the conferences and events and retreats that I have taught at or I have participated in, hello, thank you for joining on Instagram, that I've participated in, I've gotten paid, but in different ways. So there's been where I've gotten either the comp ticket. So, like, let's say the price of the actual event cost about $700 to $1,500. So, because I was a speaker, I didn't have to pay to attend the event because I was either a speaker or teaching, right? Then also the people have also said, you know what, if you're teaching, we have kits, we have those things that we're offering. So then they went ahead and said, what is your price per kit? And I've gotten paid that way. Then I've been to stuff where I've actually come out of my pocket and paid. Yes, making that investment into myself. But did that leave a bad taste in my mouth? I would say a little bit. I haven't returned to some of those, right? And then there's some where you're doing it for free because you want to do the exposure. So you got to think about when you're planning what you're going to do. Are you going to pay your instructors? And if you are going to pay them, what does that look like? What does that look like when you pay them? Is it per person? Is it just one lump fee? Is it their fee? Is their fee going to break your budget? Think about that, okay? Then your supplies. if you want to have fabric kits, if you have sewing machines, if you have any workbooks, etc., what does that look like? So this is where your sponsorship has to come in, okay? And then if you're budgeting for social media, if you have to take out ads and promotions, that costs money. That stuff costs money, and a lot of people don't really think about that, but that does cost money, okay? And then any extras, any extra surprises. What about those gifts, the swag bags, your welcome goodies? What does that look like? You got to also think about that. We had some amazing swag bags for our sorority retreat, but that was a cost. But we also were able to say, okay, we're going to put that on our website to sell. And I love a good swag bag. I really, really do. So you have to think about those things. What are going into it? So factor that into your costs as well. Okay. So we can do, and what we're going to do in the actual in-depth series, because I'm actually have been recording these and it will be available as one whole series package. So but I'm doing these here on live so we can kind of have an interaction and talk. But in that one, I'm going to actually give a breakdown on actual sample budget and what that can look like, and if you would rather have. So I'm going to ask you this, those of you who are watching here, would you rather have an all-inclusive retreat or a lower cost event with optional add-ons? You can see I'm doing my market research. Would you rather have an all-inclusive retreat, or, and I'm going to put this in here and put that up on the screen because I'm going to ask the audience also. Would you rather have an all-inclusive retreat or a lower cost event with optional add-ons? And if you're on IG, let me know. We're talking about planning events. What would you like? Tell me. I would love to know. I think I have an idea, but I'll say this, like I go to Craftcation, which is an amazing crafting conference with over, I think, 100 plus presenters, over 100 plus or more, five, maybe four, 300, whatever classes, a lot of classes. Like each hour or every 3 hours, there's a class. There's about 20 to 30 classes that are happening at the same time. And it's really, really, really good. All inclusive, yes. So included in your ticket are the free classes. What's not included is when you have to get those specialized classes. So like the class that I teach and a couple of classes that I know that I want to attend, there's like a $5 fee, a $10 fee, a $20 fee, something like that, because they're limited in space. But they also still offer, if you don't get a chance to do any of those classes, you still get the free events and the free aspect that they have that's sort of all inclusive in that ticket. But you still have to, there's a waiting. When I tell you there's a waiting line, there is a waiting line. And they crashed the system a few weeks ago. They had to redo it recently because people are trying to get in classes. And after they get in classes, there's a long wait list and they stand at the door. So I saw, what did I see right there? That one, they don't have enough classes. Two, there's a need because they have so many people. They've outgrown their space, which means that crafting conferences are something that people really want and want to look for, and they find value in it. They're paying close to $800 just for the ticket alone. Okay. Then they're going in to pay for the individual classes, right? Then you're paying for your lodging and accommodations in California. But this is something that happens every year, and they're able to gain and learn, and it's knowledgeable. And what does that make me look at and see? This is something that people want to do. Okay. So some of the common mistakes you want to avoid when planning, and these can be part of your planning pitfalls, because I'll tell y'all this, it does happen. It does happen. Thank you all for putting all inclusive. Yes, all inclusive. Thank you, the CBS Academy, Nicole, Renee. Thank you. Yes, all inclusive. I like all inclusive because then I know exactly what it is I'm getting as well. I agree with that. So one of the common mistakes in the planning phase, and we're going to talk about what can go wrong and how you can prevent it. So first, I said this earlier, is not budgeting for the unexpected. Have you ever been to an event and they didn't have enough tables or chairs? Have you ever been to an event and they didn't have enough food? Have you ever been to an event that there was not enough parking attendants? They didn't have any more swag bags. They didn't have a place for you to sit. Yeah, no chairs, no place to sit, no food, freezing cold. Oh, that has happened. Dîner en Blanc. How many of you know of Dîner en Blanc? I was not part of that event planning committee at all. However, I attended the event to support a friend of a friend of a friend. And when I tell you that my event planning radar went into overdrive and I was trying to save the sinking ship. Now, this event happened about, let me say 8, 9 years ago, about, and it was not good. Maybe, yeah. Was it 8 or was it 7? It was a few years ago. It was pre-pandemic. But they had to redeem themselves and they since have. So I've attended the first two here in Dallas and they were great. I was part of a volunteer committee that I came in to help like the day of. And they knew that and they could see that and like, okay, Monica's on it. Because I was like, this is fun. I want to come. I got a free ticket. Let me just enjoy it. But of course I want to help out. But when I was at this event, when I tell you I left, I left. And that's hard for me to just get up and leave. And we're going to be honest and talk about it. They did not have enough food. They didn't order the right food for the people that needed food for the guests. The guests didn't have their food. So, with Dîner en Blanc, it's the all white dinner that happens. And literally, people purchased their food and there were supposed to be seating. So they had their tables, and these were the VIPs. So you purchased your table was going to be set up for you, and you purchased your food and your plate and everything. When I tell you that they didn't have the food for them, or somebody else went in and took the food, because it was chaotic. But I know why it was chaotic, because there weren't enough team. There weren't enough team. It seemed like the person had a great idea in their head, had it all planned meticulously. I believe maybe not, maybe so. And implementation of the actual event on the day of, everything was just spiraling down, spiraling down. I was trying to help to the point that people were like, Monica, is this you? We know this is not you. Monica. And I said, you know what? I put my little thing on my head, put my little scarf on, and said, you know what? Bye. I'm going to head out. When it's too cold. It was very, very cold, and we're outside. So they didn't factor in warmers. They didn't factor in any of that in terms of the weather and what to do with that. So I plan a lot of outdoor events. When I'm planning those things, I'm thinking about the weather. I'm monitoring the weather. I'm looking at what are those things that are going to take effect that may happen. Is it going to rain that week? Is it going to snow? Is it freezing outside? Is it going to be hot? I live in Texas. Of course it's going to be hot. So what am I doing? Do I have my blowers? Do I have my misters? Have we ran those tests for them to come out to make sure that they're cool? They're sprinkling and spraying the water for people. So when they come by, they're not feeling hot. They're not feeling, things happen. But how you pivot is going to be important. Okay. So when we delve more into this, we're going to talk about grace under fire. Okay. Having grace under fire. So another thing is, so you're not budgeting for the unexpected cost. Now you're choosing a venue before knowing your audience size. Have you been to a place that the place was too small for the amount of people that came? Or have you been somewhere and the place was huge and it looked like you only had 5 people? Has that happened? Okay, Blue Danube. You volunteered at an event once where the venue somehow forgot to set up the tables and chairs. What did you have to do? That has happened. That has happened. That has happened. And when I tell you, why do you think I don't know, for those of you who know me, I carry extra pair of shoes in my car and another pair of clothes, especially on event days. I have a whole entire kit because I've had to set up tables. I've had to set up chairs. I've had to make sure that no one knew, all hell was breaking loose inside. Okay? Or we were painting the stripes and stuff on a tennis court before the grand opening of that event. But no one knew. But it happens. It happens. Okay. You price too low and you're losing money. That's another pitfall. Or you're not giving yourself enough time to plan. That's another thing. I'll tell you that can cause a lot of stress for people. If you don't give yourself enough time, you're going to be stressed out. You're going to be stressed out. People can see it, people can feel it. And that's not going to be a good experience, one for your guests, but also one for those of you who you're planning events with. So you need to give yourself enough time. I think some people take for granted time. I know sometimes in my sewing, I love to procrastinate. I don't know what it is about that. I do. I love to procrastinate. But when it comes to events, oh no, 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 no. I'm doing everything I need to do right then, because there's days when I wake up and I'm like, wait a second, did I do all of that? Did I sell out? Did I get all the tickets? Did we do this? And you don't want to have those anxiety attacks. You don't want to have those moments that you're feeling like that. Okay. So if you ever hosted an event before, for those of you who've ever hosted it, and I know Mia has for her event, and Blue, you've said you've volunteered once, and I think Cynthia, you've attended. If you've ever hosted an event, what was the biggest challenge? What was the biggest challenge that you had? I want to know. Tell me. Let's talk about it. This is not just me talking on here because y'all know I can talk, but I want to know. I really want to know. I want to know what was your biggest challenge? What was some of the things that you think that you faced that you're like, you know what? And I can tell you, I'll tell you about mine. I've had a few. I've had a few in the past couple years, but you you pivot, you pivot. You know what I mean? You pivot. Hi, thank you for joining on Instagram. Thank you for joining here on Twitch and YouTube. I appreciate you all. So, what was the biggest challenge? Did you have any challenge that you experienced during the event? Oh, I'll tell you one. When I was working at one of the universities I worked at, we were having this event for lawyers, and we I did all the catering. I usually pick out all the food. The menu is curated to a T. And I work great with our coordinator. He somehow was out and his assistant was there, and for whatever reason put the date of the event the next day. Yeah. I don't know why. And we confirmed it. I said the date, like for instance, 11th, the 11th. The event is on the 11th. The event is on the 11th. 11th. Everything the 11th. We're setting up the tables 11th. For some odd reason, they put the 12th. They had staff for the 12th. So on the 11th in the morning, but this is not the first time we've planned these type of events. So I don't have to be there so early because it's like clockwork. Everything is working. So I give maybe about 2 hours before the event, something that Monica just head over, because my guys were already set up the tables and everything. So I go to the caterer and said, hey, I haven't seen your setup yet. And he's like, yeah, the event's tomorrow. I said, no, we've been setting up. You don't see the guys here. Everybody has set up the tables and chairs. People will be here in 2 hours. Hi, Anna. How are you? When I tell you that put my hair bonnet on, hairnet, we were in the kitchen, cutting fruit, cutting this, cutting that, getting everything. He had just got the orders in for the event that he was thinking was going to be on the 12th, which was the 11th, because the assistant wrote it wrong. But we pivoted. When I tell you, no one knew besides us. Had my change of clothes in the car because I had sweated everything out. Oh, I turned into a sous chef that day. And I love to cook. But it was like, wait, what? We got hundreds of people coming. How are we going to cook and get all this food together and everything? I have to. But I did it grace under fire. Grace under fire. No one knew. Everyone had a fantastic time. Oh, it was great. It was great. But those are the moments, I'll tell you this, I do live for that adrenaline rush when that happens when you're planning an event. And, either I don't wish for anything to go wrong, but when it does, you're like, okay, let's target it. We can do this. We can do this. But other things happen where you're double booked and you show up and you show up and guess what? Someone else is at your venue. And there's nothing you can do about that. Things like that, they do happen. They do happen. So we want to talk about those particular things. So here are some key takeaways as we chat a bit. Here's some key takeaways that I want to give you is you want to start planning at least 6 months in advance. You want to know your budget and your break even point. You want to create an experience, not just an event. You want to create an experience, not just an event. Can y'all say that? Can y'all say experience? That's the one thing I'm going to tell you. With sorority, we create experiences. The Success in Project So, it's an experience when you come, you have a great time. That's why you want to come back. Even all these other events, if going to frock tales and all these other things, if you have a good time, that is part of the experience. You want to give people an experience. Even from the sewing classes that some of you will be teaching, these new retreats that you all are looking to have and host, there's a plethora of different things you want to do. But the biggest thing is, what is the experience that people are going to have when they come in and then when they leave? In the first series that we did, when we did a quick overview, I talked about what is it that people see when they walk in? What do they see? What do they smell? What do they hear? Those three senses are very important in the science of planning an event. The reason I say that is because you come into a place, I'm West African, so we come to I come to my stuff one time, but we come to everything else late because we want the party to get started. And I never understood that concept because I'm like, if we're all coming late and we come late and nobody's there, then we're going to leave, right? But we have to all come for people to be there. So I've never understood that concept, but it works. Maybe we all, and magically we all come at the same time, so it feels like we're all coming at the same time. I don't know. But if I go someplace and I walk in, I'm looking for, my eyes want to be stimulated. What does the venue look like? I'm smelling like, oh, is it good food? Because I love to eat, so I can come and eat. Is it aroma? What kind of event is this? So that's going to determine what I may smell. What am I hearing? Do I hear light music? Do I hear fun, inviting music? Is it quiet and stale? Uh, so you got to think about those things when you're planning. That's important because I don't want to go somewhere and I walk into this place. And as I walk in, I'm like, this looks lackluster. They didn't even put any thought into the decor. They didn't even think about, ooh, it smells. Why do I smell sewage? Or, it what is this, all this noise? What is this chaos? Or why isn't there anything? So think about those things too, okay? We're going to dive into a variety of things. So the next time we're diving into the guest experience, okay? So we want to talk about how to create an unforgettable retreat. So we're going to cover everything from hands-on workshops to surprise moments that make the guests feel special. You don't want to miss that, all right? So I want you to ask your questions now, and this is the time to open up the floor. So again, for my next episode, which will be next week, we're going to dive into the guest experience, okay? The guest experience. And how to create an unforgettable event and retreat that people are talking about over and over again. I've gone to things and it's like after you've left, nobody's talking about it. If it's cute, you're instantly excited. I know that's right, Nicole. I've gone to things and I walked in and I'm like, and the whole time, oh my God, I'm like, when is this going to be over? Or, oh my God, I've been somewhere and people are on their phone looking at somebody else's event. and wishing that they were at that event. Has that happened? I've sat next to somebody and they're like, they're at an event, supposed to be enjoying the event, and they're sitting here like, oh man, you see this person, this is where we needed to be. That's not good. That's not good. You want to get a pulse on your audience and you need to make sure you change that. So let me know some of your questions now if you have any, so that we can, hey, Tamika, so that we can discuss. I'm on YouTube, Tamika. I'm on IG and YouTube. So thank you for joining me on IG. But yeah, let I want to talk to you guys about that. So we're going to talk about that experience and how does it feel? How do you feel in it? What makes it fun for you that you want to come back over and over again, that you know what, I'm never going to miss this. Just go ahead and take my credit card right now and keep my ticket. you know? Keep my money. Keep it on the retainer, right? So let me hear from you. This is your time. This is my time to open up the floor. So if you have questions, I know on our last call, someone was thinking about starting their own like Project Soul sewing group and wanting to know how to start it. Someone else was thinking about how can they go about starting their own either sewing retreat or event, and what does that look like. So I think it's important. The first thing is definitely you want to make sure you have community. I say build it and they will come. Yes, build it and they will come. But if you're building something, they can't come if they don't know about it. So, but if you have that community already and you're building that anticipation, you're seeing what needs that your community has, you build it and they will come. Believe me on that. I've been a part of a couple of different organizations and things that I've built here in the sewing community, and people have come, people show up for years, you know, for years. And now I'm so thankful because now I know exactly the things that I've had, the ideas that I've had. I see it and I see that it's time to move on those ideas, to move on those things, to move on those visions because it's a need for the community. So if you see that there's a need in the sewing community and you see that people want something or it's not being solved as a problem and it's not being solved, go ahead and be that person to solve it. But make sure you're building that community. So I see y'all on YouTube. So y'all go ahead. I see y'all in other people's chats. So come on, chat it up. I want to know. Are y'all interested about this topic? And first, thank you all for joining. Thank you all for joining. And for those of you who are not interested, I understand if you're not interested in planning events, that's fine, you know. But if you are, I definitely want to know so we can talk. So the next time again, we're going to dive into the guest experience and all of that stuff. So okay. Hey, Be More Frocktails, how are you? So we have Baltimore Fractals. Did you guys see the theme? I am so excited. I think I'm going to try to make it. When is the Fractals again? Is it July? We're talking about event plannings for Be More Fractals. We're on YouTube as well. I think their Fractals is in July. And that's Baltimore, Maryland. Their Fractals. We definitely have to go down. It's sporty chic, I believe. Like a sports vibe. Oh, July 19th. Yes. Okay. Well, I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to go. I'm going to be able to attend. And they're building that momentum. They have 100 tickets. So if you don't get it, it's sold out. So get your ticket. Get your ticket. Okay. So thank you all for joining. Again, I'm Monica with That's on Monica. If you're not following me, please follow me here on YouTube, on Twitch, on Instagram. I appreciate those of you who were able to join in and out, and those of you who bounced over from Instagram over to YouTube. I think I'm going to move forward and just do the one platform and then just promote that. That's important. I was doing a study for myself because I do have a larger audience on Instagram, but also I know, and I'm hearing someone's voice on my shoulder. Mine. It's important that you promote your events, you promote your programs so people can come. But I know I'm kind of just talking and I'm going to leave this up so you can watch this at any time because I'm building the series along the way so all of you can watch it and take part in it. So I hope that I was able to impart some knowledge for you and give you some insight on what it's like planning an event and touching a little bit on those things as we get more in depth in there. So I'll see you next week. Thank you for joining. Have a good night.